Welcome to ISIS in the Bible, a summer gathering, week 4, biblical flood. The question for today is, what's your definition of flood? When you think of the word flood, is it only water? Is not everything water? Floods of information, floods of change, floods of truth are a few examples. From Mahatma Gandhi, truth alone will endure. All the rest will be swept away before the tide of time. We don't always have to quote others. You are gifted. What say you? And we got some beautiful quotes, and I'll add that to the video when I'm editing. It was very inspirational hearing everybody on their beautiful wisdom on the floods and how we can experience them in so many ways. So let's go for a walk, shall we? Let's walk and talk. Synchronicities that highlight the truth are amazingly on fire. So let's talk about the star for the show for exactly 3:33 p.m. This is exactly 3:33 p.m. today, and the Imam Kweli, the bottom of the chart, is aligned with star Achenar. And Achenar is said to be an Aquarius, where we found out that it's not. It's not done properly. Achenar, the star, is supposed to line exactly at 0 Aries. Achenar is a star in the constellation of Eridanus, and you can see that the word Eris is in there, specifically meaning at the end of the river. The name of Achenar itself comes from Arabic, meaning of the end of the river, and you can see this is Eridanus. Okay, and this is where the star Claudius Ptolemy says it should be. So this is from Claudius Ptolemy's Almagestum, showing that 0 means the 0 constellation, which is Aries, and then within 10 seconds from that spot. So that means it's right there. So again, that's the Constellatio Fluvi, constellation of the river. Achenar is the end of the river. And it says that that name right there translates to the bright one, which is at the end of the river. So it's supposed to be right here, but yet they have it way up here in Aquarius when you look at the house system. So interestingly enough, I just looked at somebody's chart who has an alignment with Achenar, which shouldn't be there. I'll be speaking with that person real soon about this, because it's very interesting that this alignment is showing on this flood of truth, because the truth is we have to follow the stars where they're supposed to be, and we have some errors out there. And how can this one be an error where it's sitting there right at the Phoenix rising location? Think about how beautiful that is. The flood of truth is upon us. So everyone is finding out this beautiful truth all around the world. So again, notice that the word Eris is in Eridanus, and Eris does the Phoenix rising at this spot. So I'm just going to take a little walk around. Saturn is in Aquarius. So Father Time is in where? Aquarius, which is forgiveness, and we're all upon it. Neptune is also in, so people's energies are really feeling these, both Neptune and Saturn in retrograde, which has many more in retrograde. And Neptune is in Pisces, and Neptune is energy, and that energy is lighting up our Piscean karma. Both Chiron, the wounded healer, and Eris are in. Hygeia is going through cleansing the head. Uranus, Mars, and Jupiter in Taurus, that's all the bull. Jupiter is law, and we know there's a lot of people out there stating the real law, taking down the illegal statutes, codes, and regulations. The sun is in Cancer, about to meet in Leo. We'll talk about that in a second. So 8/8 is tomorrow, what everybody's saying. But remember that August the 8th is not really August the 8th with all the days at the Vatican added. So we don't know really what time it is with our current calendar. You got to look at where the sun and the moon is. That is the calendar, not what man makes up. Vesta is about to go into Leo and meet with the sun at Regulus, which is the true Lion's Gate. So right now, today, Leo, the heart, Mercury is aligned with Venus, and Venus is Mother Nature, and we talked about the animals and the Noah's Ark, and Mercury is in retrograde again. So that means your old memories can come to give you some reminders. The moon is leaving Leo into Virgo, and that's all about I'll say today, except for our wings are aligned with Royal Star Antares, which is the royal star that gets you above temptations. So again, the Lion's Gate, compassionate bravery. The sun moves in on August the 16th. This is Leo. The Lion's Gate is Regulus. This is a very important royal star, and that happens on August 22nd. It's always beautiful when we get together to manifest, but why not pay attention on the day of the connection when we stick our finger in a socket, and if it's plugged in, you will feel it. That's an alignment. If you stick your finger in a socket and there's no electricity there, you won't feel it. So the alignments are really important. But again, anytime we get together and group manifest is beautiful. So let's look at the recent mudslide that we had in the Chilcotin River, which is west of Williams Lake, British Columbia. The landslide, which took place near Nagwenteld Farwell Canyon, created a natural dam that has blocked the river, resulting in a substantial buildup of water behind the blockage. So what's synchronistic with this metaphysically, and a lot of people brought it up today, is when we have old karmic blockages, it will build up and it will build up and it will build up till it releases. So this is a beautiful example of that. So I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to move along so you can see that the river here, right, and they're going to show you that see how it's already drying up. This happened on August 1st. I'm going to move along, and you can see all the different locations where the river is dried up. And I move right along to around 310. Let me go a little bit before. So you can see where it's all completely dry, and here is the mudslide. Here is the karmic blockage. And so what happens is because of a previous fire, the trees die. They no longer fire, right? So it no longer has roots. And then excessive rain, a lot of caused the mudslide to dam the river. So the river is a vein in your body. It represents a past experience that's waiting for resolve. And what will happen is this water, so this is the water now that's going to be building up, which has been building up for the last 6 days behind. It's from one of the native Indian groups. They went out with their helicopter. So the flow has started. Mother Nature will remove all that she needs to. The true definition of the fall of Babylon. This is the true definition of the fall of Babylon. Man's ego has no free will when it comes to Mother Nature. So this is only a minute 40. Start to
river right now.
Fill up behind, and it's going to start moving all kinds of debris. The bridge is shaking, she said. They said in some locations the water level behind the mudslide has risen over 150 feet. So what's that going to do? That's going to start saturating all the other lands more than a rainwater and cause more mudslides potentially. So this is how Mother Nature resolves its own, and will always, always win. Jackass, look out. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next video. So just like karmic debt, a blockage of resistance, it flows again, freely moving anything in its path to find its truth once again. This is a physical example of the metaphysical season we're upon. So I'm going to show you, just briefly run through this. There was no sound on this one, so you can see, look at the water. It's just raging, and it's clearing the banks, like we said, the banks, the karmic debt, the banks which got us in mortgage debt payments illegally, unlawfully, they're all going to start eroding. The banks erode. So there's a perfect synchronicity of what's happening. You can see how it's just taking out the banks, right? And banks are closing. So you can see how the trees have all, like, it's really, really risen, right? Mother Nature is so powerful, for so beautiful at the same time. And then we're coming up to, here's where the bank is at. So you can see all this stuff is moving, and that's behind the mudslide. So they've evacuated some of the towns. There's not very many towns around here because it's pretty much all just mountainous lands, beautiful mountainous lands. But you can see all the trees, how they've been burned, right? So Mother Nature is creating a flow. So some people's bodies will actually mimic this, and this would be in the head, and people would have releases in their head. The only way to clear that is knowing that when I have a blockage anywhere in my body, it's because I have something to resolve. It's karmic debt, which is beautiful, and Mother Nature always helps us clear it. So there is a truth flood engulfing the world. I'm sure you can all attest to that fact, that we've been studying and saying since May of 2019 and earlier. The they illusion, representing the untruth and karmic bondage, is now being released. Further to the mention of the improper location of star Arcanar, which aligns with the Phoenix rising, one more mention of truth overtaking the untruths. Man tries to keep his free will, but love always wins. So this came to me very synchronistically. I've been looking for this, and I tried to get my brother to photograph this with the last eclipse, but this is a photo in 1919 of an important eclipse that was taken by a team led by Sir Arthur Eddington, a British astronomer, physicist, and mathematician known for his work in astrophysics. A quote from Eddington prior to the eclipse: "The forthcoming total solar eclipse presents a unique opportunity to test the predictions of Einstein's theory of general relativity. Observing the deflection of the starlight near the sun will provide empirical evidence to either support or refute this theory. We propose to establish observing stations along the path of totality to maximize our chances of clear skies and successful observations." So this image now proves to be more than what was expected at that time. A misunderstanding of what they were looking at becomes monumental truth. So this came to me. Why? Because the truth has to be told. So not only does a star show up penetrating through the sun, where the moon is blocking it, which is a physical impossibility in their model, well, it shows us the truth. The sun isn't some massive ball. It's light. It's not a mass. It's not a thing. It's light. So this star that penetrates the sun proves that we are teaching unfounded, fallacious, unsound theoretical physics in universities around the world. I'm not judging. I'm merely squashing the snake of untruth with the love of how our beautiful earth manifests. So you can see that we're going to talk about all these different little star locations and how I'm going to prove to you. So just this little star going through this is enough to debunk everything that they're talking about. Because remember, they're teaching our kids theories which have no foundation. They only have observations. So here's a few quotes from Einstein where he admits he is unsure of the theories which have no foundation, hence why they are still called theories, theoretical physics. As far as a law of mathematics referred to reality, they are not certain, because they're trying to put everything to math. And how can you put love to math, spirit to math, the ether to math? They deny the ether. And as far as they are certain, they do not refer to reality. I still do not understand it. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, Kat said this to me the other day, you don't understand it yourself. Well, if these theoretical physicists, all of them, the greatest ones that ever walked the land of Einstein's theory, they'll tell you they don't understand it. So how can you get a 6-year-old to understand it? And the last one is, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. So we shall prove to you, again, not only just that star coming through, that the theory of relativity fails again, which Ken Wheeler, by the way, has proven time and time again. We now have proof with what the ancients knew. Eclipses are to show you where we are at on the clock. We're going to have that in another video, but it has nothing to do with the erroneous bending of space-time, which is a no wonder people, including Einstein himself, have said, I don't understand it. So those stars, I took those stars, right? And I plotted them out on, well, first of all, I plotted all of Ptolemy's stars on a polar plot. Now I just took the stars in the area because they said one of the stars is Aldebaran, which is right here. And I took those stars and I circled them that are on this image. Okay? I circled them, I put them over top of Ptolemy's plot, and they match. There's one there, and these two over here. A perfect match. When Ptolemy plotted these stars, it was at nighttime. It wasn't bending by the sun. So for them to, they took two pictures, one in Sao Tome and Principe on Principe Island, and one in Sobral, Brazil. And both of them took the exact same image. There should have been parallax. There was no parallax. It showed the exact same thing. So it's showing that the stars are infinite. They're in the firmament. They're not what NASA says. That whole thing is just one big untruth. And many of the people around the world are trying to share that truth, and nobody wants to listen to them. So here now you've got two untruths that have been slayed. What they did prove for us is that the sun moves back and forth across. And this is beautiful. So taking that plot of Claudius Ptolemy's stars, which are still accurate, well respected, and placing them how they should be on a polar plot over the lands, we can see that the stars match almost perfectly. So here's a better view of that. Okay, so there's Aldebaran, and now showing you Aldebaran. For those who want to look into it, there's the data. All right, there's the stars plotted by Ptolemy. All right, and they exactly match what they've seen. So there's no bending of light and all that crap that they try to teach the kids in school. All right, that's all done by the banks. And now that those banks got to let go, the banks of untruth. So yes, here's another level of untruth that people are uncovering all over the world. Everybody's uncovering it, and whether it's small, big, doesn't matter. So here's a summary statement from those who are interested. The theory of light bending by gravity, as demonstrated by Eddington's 1919 eclipse observations, relies on the assumption that the sun's gravitational field shifts the apparent position of the stars, because they didn't think it was there, because they say the sun doesn't move amongst the stars, but it does. So, however, an analysis using a Gleason map shows that the stars' positions plotted with the still viable Claudius Ptolemy's Almagest can align perfectly with the sun's location along the zodiac's celestial equator, debunking the impossible bending of light. Remember, that's a theory. And this proves this eclipse, that's not a good theory. So this supports a geocentric model, like the ancients have always said, with a firmament, and that we're infinite, and we're tethered to pure love, suggesting that the sun's north-south movement explains the observed stars' positions during the eclipse. The sun does move across the sky amongst the stars, not what the NASA model, the banks, took it all the way laughing to the bank. So just a couple of quick flood quotes and then we're done. In the Bible. Truth flood in the Bible. Zechariah 8:16. These are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to each other and render true and sound judgment in your courts. This is court. We're in court right now. We're in jury. So we're presenting to the jury the truth. Now it's up to you. Isaiah 11:9. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the ruling goddess as the waters cover the seas. The ruling goddess is Isis Eris, which means the waters of love. Revelation 22:1 and 2. Then the angel showed me the river of water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb through the middle of the street of the city. Also, on either side of the river, right, there's the banks, the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit. There is the zodiac, yielding its fruit in each month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Amos 5:24. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteous like an ever-flowing stream. So the truth is coming out. And just like that massive mudslide in British Columbia, the truth shall be set free. It always is. And that's all we have for today.